Good morning, our battalion. Welcome to the early edition of Hammer Talk. Today we have a couple of members from our battalion to cover the stimulus package. I will allow them to introduce themselves. To my left we have...
Good morning, I'm Sergeant Major Harris. I am the Operations Sergeant Major for the 62nd Engineer Battalion.
Hi, I'm Captain Bill Bennett, your S3 Plans Officer.
Morning, First Lieutenant Choi, S3 Training Officer.
With that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of transition to Sergeant Major Harris, and we'll give a brief overview, and then we'll just do a little questions and answers. So, Sergeant Major Harris, can you kind of give us an overview about the stimulus package?
Sure can. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Sergeant Major. Happy birthday. So, let's talk stimulus package. We're going to hit wave tops, and we're going to take some opportunities to kind of organize our thoughts during these wave tops. I'd like to take the time to talk to you about organization during chaos, or opportunities during chaos, and how to survive and thrive after this pandemic has subsided. And then we're going to talk about some small things like making a budget, having a plan, being aggressive, taking those opportunities to kind of identify some of those subscriptions that may be lingering and taking money out of your bank account that you've not really paid attention to in the past, but you want to give some attention to now. Plan a little defense. When we're talking about playing a little defense, we're talking about building some liquidity within your savings account and actually having some assets when you're moving forth and coming out of this thing in a better state on the backside. Also, the last thing I want to kind of get at is to be quiet, right? There's a lot of people out there talking finances right now, and the world is in a place of uncertainty. And when the world is in a place of uncertainty, we often make decisions based upon emotions. Just kind of be quiet, draw back a little bit, take a walk, make a plan, and then come back and execute that plan. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Q&A for the stimulus package.
All right, so I guess one of the biggest questions on everybody's mind is who's eligible for the economic impact payments?
Okay, good question, Sergeant Major. So those personnel that make less than $75,000 a year for a single person filing, and those that make less than $150,000 a year for a married couple filing jointly are eligible for the stimulus payment.
Okay, so now that we know who will be eligible, how will the IRS know where to send their payments?
Okay. The IRS has your information on file already. So since they have your information on file, if you elected to receive your payment via ETF, then your payment will be sent and you don't require any action from your party. If you have elected to receive a check in the past, then that's the way the IRS is going to send your information. And that's going to be based upon your 2018, 2019 tax return.
Okay, all right, so if I understand you correctly, my 2018, 2019 tax return would kind of give them an indication where to send it, so that would cover the concern about direct deposit, or what if I didn't do direct deposit?
Ooh, so I mean, if you didn't do direct deposit first, welcome to the 21st century. Secondly, if you didn't do or direct deposit, you can expect a paper check, and that's going to come in the mail in the form of a paper check,
Right.
and that should arrive from 2 to 8 weeks from the 6th.
Okay, all right, so, and if I didn't file my tax return, is there something I can do to possibly get an income stimulus check?
Sure. If you didn't file your 2018 tax return, you're encouraged to file that as soon as possible, because that's the data that the IRS is using to generate the stimulus package. So you're encouraged to file your 2018, 2019 taxes as soon as possible.
Okay, so where can I go to get the information so I first know what I need to do, and then second, how do I go through the process of making those different claims or filing and so on and so forth? Is there a website or something?
There is, and that's going to be irs.gov. There's really no action needed on your part if you've already filed your taxes. However, the IRS is in the process of making a forum on their website, irs.gov, for you to go and register your information so you can receive those stimulus packages. And the last time I checked, it was not up and running, and they did not give a definitive time of when it would be, but it says it's coming soon.
Okay, so we discussed the wave top as far as the package. We talked about filing our tax return for those of us who might have been working, and then exactly how we're going to receive those payments. So I'm going to transition to Lieutenant Choi and see, sir, is there any information you can possibly provide for those unemployment in reference to benefits?
Roger, Sergeant, certainly. So the new stimulus bill created a pandemic emergency employment compensation fund. So normally under unemployment rules, workers that were self-employed, freelancers, independent contractors were not eligible for unemployment benefits. However, with the new fund, you are eligible. It also extends the unemployment benefits timeline from 26 weeks to 39 weeks. So even if you're on your 26th week, your last week of unemployment benefit, it's awesome because you're eligible to extend it an additional 13 weeks.
Okay.
And for those 39 eligible weeks, you are entitled to $600 per week. That's mandated by the federal government. So if you are, for example, getting $100 per week by your state, if you apply, you're eligible, and you do receive the additional benefit that's included in with the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Fund,
Right.
you'll then get $700, 100 plus 600, $700. So it's not bad. But yeah, as a Texan here, of course, the soldiers and families here at Fort Hood, we all live in Texas. If you want to apply for the benefit, you would have to apply through the Texas Workforce Commission. And you can apply for those unemployment benefits through twc.texas.gov or call 1-800-939-6631.
All right, so we've covered unemployment soldiers or personnel unemployed. We've covered the site where they can go to possibly get information. So what about some of the soldiers that might be small business owners? Is there any information out there for them?
Definitely. So with the new fund, there's essentially 4 large pillars that the government has decided to kind of utilize to help small business owners out and kind of give them a little bit of financial and economic relief. One of those is the Paycheck Promotion Program. It's a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep people on payroll. They've also expanded access to their small business associations' existing economic injury disaster loans, and then also expanded the SBA's Express Loans programs as well, where these small business owners can take $1 million or $2 million, or depending, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of a federal loan,
Right.
with a little bit of more leeway. And you can get more details about those loans at irs.gov as well. The last pillar under the CARES Act is if you currently have, or if you're a small business owner and you currently have a pre-existing non-disaster SBA loan, the Small Business Association will pay for up to 6 months of principal, interest, and fees to the loans as well. And those, it's not just for pre-existing as well. If you want to apply for a new loan, you can apply within 6 months from March 27th, 2020.
Okay, so is there anything else you would like to discuss with our viewing audience? Any other information you'd like to provide, sir?
Yeah, certainly, Sergeant Major. So we've talked unemployment benefits, we've talked small business stuff. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're kind of realizing, well, I'm not unemployed, my wife still has a job, and I don't own a small business, what am I going to do with all my money?
Right.
And you may be inclined to get a tattoo, get some shiny new rims, and that's cool and all, but there are a couple things that you can do to kind of prudently use your money and your finances. And one of those is to kind of like look at your rainy day fund, see how long or how much money you have in that, and kind of take that into consideration. Maybe you add those funds to the rainy day fund that you have in your bank accounts. You can also pay down your debt as well. And I would, just one recommendation is to just start with the highest APR you have and just start paying down that debt accordingly. Another thing you could do is just take an additional payment on principal to your mortgage payments as well. For us in a uniform, we take VA loans, oftentimes with little to no money down. And if you're at the early stages of your VA loan, we all run on amortized schedules. You may not have a lot of principal or equity on your home, and this may be a way to kind of hack into that a little bit and a little bit at a time. But anything further than that, I got Captain Milvin in over here to my right, or to my left, your guys' right. And he can speak a little bit more on what you can do with your finances.
All right, cool. Thank you, sir.
So let's say that you don't have a lot of debt and you want to think more long-term with some of this money that the government has graciously given you. You may have heard the term TSP, or Thrift Savings Plan. What that is a government-sponsored 401k alternative. So what you do is you can donate up to 10% of your base salary every month and whatever special pay, language, demo, jump that you may get into this long-term retirement account. If you are pretty investment savvy, you'll know that there's 5 different types of funds that you can actually contribute within the TSP. They are the G, F, S, C, and I funds. We're not going to go too much into depth with the talks during this talk. However, just know that those have different levels of risk and different levels of reward. What I recommend, just my personal opinion, is that you go to something called the lifestyle fund. You have investment management professionals will take your money and then they'll put it in the necessary funds and reallocate as needed depending on what age you are, when you want to retire, and how risky you're actually feeling. They will manage that for you. So it's a nice, easy way to get a lot more out of your money. So for the Covered All Education Savings Account, you're going to put in your after-tax dollars. The nice thing is, while this money grows in your account, it's going to grow tax-free. So any additional money that you earn in interest is not going to be taxed on the back end when you try to take any of this out. The contribution limits annually are $2,000, but the benefits of this, even though it is a lower amount, is that you can use this money for your kids K through college for any education-related expenses. That includes some things like school-mandated sports, books, sometimes even class trips. Another benefit of this is that once the child hits 18, the money can be theirs, and they can withdraw it for any reason, even non-college related expenses with no penalties. The next type of education savings account that I'm going to discuss is the 529 College Savings Plan. So once again, like the Covered All, it uses your after-tax dollars, so it's already been taxed once, but any additional money that you make in interest, once again, it's going to be all yours or all your kids for their education expenses. So the contribution limits per year are significantly higher than the Covered All. Depending on your state, this can range from $100,000 to $350,000 a year. If you're putting that much in a college account, you're probably being able to pay out of pocket, but that's neither here nor there. So the problem with this account is that it's very strict when it comes to what it can actually be used for. This account can only be used towards college and post-college education expenses. And if the kid doesn't use it, you can withdraw it, but you will undergo some penalties. So let's say that you don't have kids or their college is already taken care of. Something else that I'm going to discuss is high-yield savings accounts. So Lieutenant Choi was mentioning the rainy day account. It's just good money to have in case of an emergency. You need to have some last-minute expenses. You don't want it just sitting under a mattress. You want it to be growing and continuing. Some of these high-yield savings accounts, they can have interest ranging from 3 to 5%, which is pretty significant. So check with your local bank, see what they're offering, and if they're offering below that rate, you might want to look at changing what bank you go with. The only bad side about having some of these is if they're not linked with your checking account, it might be a little bit harder to withdraw. You would actually have to go into some of these banks or have some withdrawal fees. But if they are linked to your checking account, it's really easy. You just use your debit card, do internal transfers. So those are some options that you can use with this money if you don't have debt like Lieutenant Choi. I'll now turn it back over to Sergeant Major.
Yes, so thank you, sir, for that information. Lieutenant Choi, make sure you work on some of the advice you put out yourself, sir.
Why did that sound maybe?
So Sir, I know we've had a couple of questions come across our page. You mind taking this time to ask those questions, please?
Hey, Sergeant Major, it's Lieutenant Balma from behind the camera. Some of the questions we got online were from FSC. Is there going to be any help with our student loans with this CARE Act?
So I will refer that question over to Lieutenant Choi. Sir?
Sergeant Major, thank you. So in reference to your question, Lieutenant Bama, for those accounts, you can choose to defer if you're eligible. But if you want further details, just go to irs.gov. It details all the little nitty-gritty details on that website.
Thanks. Another question we got was, when it comes to taxes, will the stimulus money be taxable as income?
I think that was covered with Sergeant Major Harris. My understanding, again, correct me if I'm wrong, it will not be taxable.
Yes, Sergeant Major, thanks for that. The stimulus package is not taxable, ladies and gentlemen. That's according to irs.gov. That is addressed in frequently asked questions there. And I'm not sure if I put out the amount that soldiers would receive or should receive. And that is $1,200 up to $75,000, or $1,200 per individual up to $150,000. And then there's an additional stimulus for $500 per kid based upon your 2018 tax return.
All right, so we just wanted to provide a brief overview in reference to the stimulus package that's coming out. So for more detailed information, please refer to the websites posted on our page. All right, so like I was saying earlier, we're not subject matter experts. What we want to do is just provide you with some information to kind of help arm you on both sides of the equation. My recommendation to you is go to the websites posted on our page. Make sure you pay close attention to the websites, pay close attention to the information that's being annotated on those websites, and it should give you the details and everything else within the weeds. Also, we are not telling you what to do. We're not telling you how to spend your funds. We're not directing you to do anything. We're just offering you information. A way to do X, Y, and Z. At the end of the day, our concern or our desire is just to provide you with information, and provide you with information sooner than later. Now, starting 6 April is when the stimulus checks will start coming out, and from that point, you'll have to make a decision. Again, based off your decision off of facts, off of what you've studied through the websites, and then, just like Sergeant Major Harris said earlier, don't rush to failure. Take a step back and really contemplate what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, so at the end of this, you set yourself up for success. With that being said, again, thank you for your time. I'd like to thank the panel members for coming. And again, hashtag Hammer Talk, hashtag Hammer Strong.